One of the biggest unanswered questions about Starfield is what happened to Earth. This has been a question that has been raised since day one, the moment in which Bethesda revealed that you'll be able to play a game similar to the likes of Skyrim, but out in space. Everyone was wondering, is Earth part of that? Would that be included? And this has brought on a lot of speculation right at the beginning, and then we got a few answers, but that raised even more questions. And in this video, we're going to go through absolutely everything that we know as of right now. But before we do get into the video, if you are looking for the latest news on Starfield, then make sure that you hit that subscribe button. Every single week, we are sharing the best videos covering absolutely everything that you need to know. And we'll lead all the way up to the release where we'll go through the latest tutorials. So if you want to stay up to date on everything, make sure you hit that subscribe button. But getting back to the topic of this video, what actually happened to Earth? At first, we weren't really too sure whether or not it will be included as part of the game. And I mean that in the sense that it was revealed that Starfield was in development and it was going to be Bethesda's next title, and it was advertised in a way that similar to the likes of Skyrim but out in space, but we weren't sure whether or not our solar system was going to be part of it. This created a massive investigation within the community. With the very limited trailers and gameplay reveals that Bethesda released, players were going through them frame by frame. And from that, they managed to go and find clips which did show the Mars rover. And as you may have guessed, it was located on Mars. Now with this one single image, this one very small clip, it confirmed one of two things. Our solar system would be included within Starfield, or at the very least, Bethesda took inspiration from our solar system to recreate those planets, but elsewhere within the game. Following this speculation, which somewhat went trending within the hardcore community of Starfield, developers then confirmed that Earth would be within the game and that is our solar system. They took it a step further by saying that every planet and every system within the game you will be able to travel to and explore, meaning that we would also be able to do the exact same thing with Earth. And that's when theories really started to pick up, because every now and then within these gameplay reveals and trailers, Bethesda would include very small clips which suggest something to do with Earth. For example, we saw this clip which appeared to be a barren wasteland but had this arch which just stood out. It wasn't planet made, it was man-made. Many link this to be the Missouri Monument, the Gateway Arch. Now this is the image that people are sharing around the most. It's right in front of everyone's faces and it makes sense for that to be a very good theory. But what's very interesting is that this isn't the only image that could potentially be Earth. In the quick flash when your character first touches the artifact, if you pause at the right time, which can be difficult because it is only there for a frame or two, but if you do find these frames, there will be an image which appears to be a space shuttle. Now, with this being a game about space, of course, that's not something that stands out too much, but the way in which it's laid out, it's not like any of the other spaceships. It's more like what we know in the traditional sense, something that NASA would have put together. A stand to dock the spaceship ready for liftoff. There's also text along the side of this which says NASX, which could just be NASA, but of course Bethesda don't have licensing for that, so that's one of those little shout outs or mini Easter eggs. Just a slight twist of what the original word is and then their own variation of it. Now of course with this it still isn't confirmed that this is Earth, but based on people thinking and speculating that the monument, the archway, is to be within Missouri, it's also been speculated based on this image looking fairly similar in a desert wasteland that this could be a NASA space shuttle or a variation of it. Now with all of this, developers have confirmed that our solar system is within the game, and you will also now be required to visit it early on within game in order for you to progress through the storyline. Now in game, our solar system is called the Old Neighborhood. This has been revealed by developers as it's part of the Starfield lore. But to add another layer to this, there's also been clips within the gameplay reveals of the wealthy having a party on a cruise spaceship, and they're celebrating Terran Preservation Society. That's what it has across all the banners. Now, just based on the name, it does mean that these are likely to be inhabitants of Earth. And based on this society, it either means Earth is dying or it is already dead. And this certainly brings up some theories of what could potentially have happened. In any type of game, or even in any type of story where Earth is no longer habitable, it comes down to a few options: war, natural disasters, or global warming. And out of these three options, the one that players believe to be most likely the case is global warming. And that's not to say that the other ones are out of the picture, it's just more of a theory than anything else. With it being global warming, it would make sense that those living on Earth at the time would have been able to see the trajectory as the Earth got warmer and warmer and warmer. And they would have planned out various options on how they can actually solve this issue. One of those solutions being to actually leave Earth. This would also make sense why it does appear to be this desert abandoned wasteland. It's just way too hot for anything to survive and thrive. Taking away the deep blue seas, all the greenery, for it to just be dirt. Pretty much looking exactly like Mars, with a few structures here and there to highlight that there was life before on this planet. Now, of course, with a lot of this, many will like to highlight that we still do not 100% know that this archway is Earth. Likewise, we don't know whether or not this space shuttle is on Earth. But what links all of this together is when Bethesda has revealed our solar system, the old neighborhood. We are able to see Earth, and it does just appear to be brown. There is no water, there is no greenery, there is nothing like that. So even if these images by themselves are not on Earth, this gateway is another planet, and likewise this shuttle is a completely different planet, we can still safely say that Earth doesn't really have oceans anymore. And with a nuclear war or a natural disaster, it would still be likely that would still exist. But with global warming, yes, it would make sense for there to no longer be any water, for it to be completely dry and a wasteland. The final thing to talk about is us going back to the Preservation Society. It is said that these are the only ones to have left Earth, which is kind of weird because according to lore, humans left hundreds of years before the events of Starfield. What adds to this though is you will meet many different civilizations out in space. And with some of the gameplay as well as trailers that have been revealed, there are times in which you will meet people and they're surprised. They are somewhat stunned because you're human. Now this does suggest another side of this, to there being different types of civilizations out in the world which don't come from Earth, but it also does raise even more questions about how these other people also got out in space without knowing who else left Earth at the exact same time. Potentially, they were the first to leave, thinking that everyone else that was still on Earth died after them, and then they just flew off into space. These are the questions that, as of right now, we honestly don't know the answer to. A lot of it is just theories, but as of right now, this is absolutely everything that we've been able to uncover based on the question of what has happened to Earth within Starfield. We can only deal with speculation and theories based on the information that we have as of right now. The theory being that people believe that this is Earth. The Missouri monument of the Gateway Arch, the space shuttle, and it looking like a brown mud planet with no seas and no forests to be seen. And the reason that this has happened, many believe, is due to global warming. And that would make sense because of the Preservation Society. But with all of this, it is just a theory. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And if you enjoyed this video, then I highly recommend clicking the next video on screen. That video has been specifically selected just for you. I hope you enjoy.